Do you think these fires will affect rates in any way?
Catastrophe in California.
Why a lot of loan officers hate their jobs.
That's where I think I was able to excel in Vegas, just because it's the principles that my parents taught me. You know, yeah, it's a controversial website. I guess they talk about exploitation and all this stuff. Yeah, I'll invite them, and I keep on inviting people that I want to meet. They're like, there was a kid, invited him 100 times, just would blow me off. The best salespeople get the most no's.
What did we call this?
The Joe Rogan.
Well, welcome again to the Graham Family Podcast. Glad to have my friend and special guest here today, Ray Herrera. It's funny, when I was mentioning Graham Family Broadcast, Ray is part of my family.
Yes, I am.
We've known each other for 15 years, and that word family is one of the reasons we kind of connected recently, but happy to have you here this morning, Ray. Thank you for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, Kelly.
Ray's a part of our company now, has different roles. Ray has a branch that he runs for our company in downtown Las Vegas. Pretty cool place. Why don't you tell us about your branch downtown?
It's my urban space where I can be myself, express myself, and do a very glamorous business like mortgage. And actually, you know, I found a way to love mortgage because of that operation. I'm into art, so I run a mortgage branch. I'm actually renewed my lease this month for this starting year 10.
Okay.
So it's for you urban hip hop heads. The word bread signifies money. So I've been saying that I bake bread for homeowners for 10 years here in Vegas because we are in a repurposed bread factory at the Wholesome Bread Factory in downtown. So for me, it's been Cali, place where I found love of mortgage. It was the mediator for me to like love a business that I resented straight out of college. You know, I did go to a good university, and for I would say my first 5 years in mortgage, I resented it. I'm like, how am I doing this job that a high school dropout can do? Or what did I go to UCLA for?
Right.
So I was like, you know, early narcissistic, victimized mindset where I would just like say, oh, like I was just pissed off that I got stuck doing mortgages. But then in my 30s, I figured out how to do it and align it with the stuff that I love. And that's what that space specifically has allowed me to do, to run a mortgage operation for nearly 10 years, starting year 10, out of a repurposed bread factory. And I could call it my little art gallery, my creative space where I have the opportunity to change lives and empower humans, you know, and that's the exciting thing about what we do, Kelly, is being able to change lives and set up people.
In Vegas, for those familiar with Vegas, it's a Wholesome Bread Company right there at
Charleston and the 15.
15.
Charleston and the 15, yes.
It's on the east side. Really cool office. A lot of
yes, thank you.
You mentioned art. Ray is a connoisseur of sweaters. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the best collection of sweaters. A lot of them be picked up in France, right?
Oh, I think one or two of them.
One or two.
But actually, these come from a website called Shein. They're like $13, $14 sweaters, man. They do good.
What was it? We'll do a product placement. Shein?
Shein. Yeah, it's a controversial website, I guess, for, you know, I guess they talk about exploitation of children and all this stuff. Yeah, so it's one of those things, back to the Nike drawing board, you know, capitalism, and so there's a big resistance against it as well.
All right. Well, I'm the traditional look today. At my age,
but they do have cool sweaters, man. So I'm glad I discovered it.
So what you mentioned kind of ties in with the topic that I wanted to kind of roll with today is why a lot of loan officers hate their jobs. Okay.
Correct.
I've been in the business 31 years. Started back in Philly, moved here, been originating here for 30 years. And honestly, I hate my job sometimes.
Of course.
It's easy. Those in the mortgage world, we don't know what our income is going to be in March.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
But, you know, thank God it always seems to work out and has.
Absolutely.
When you put in the effort. In your case, talk a little bit more how you were able to get out of that, like maybe like funk. This is not really fun,
You know,
because you're really, really successful. Ray is one of the
Thank
top
you.
originators in Las Vegas, and gets business from California as well. But the grind, talk about the grind, because I think that's what gets a lot of loan officers discouraged is the grind. How have you?
I think for me specifically, Kelly, it was just perspective. You know, the gurus and every, you know, motivational speaker will say I try to stay away from cliches, but they say, you know, once you see your job as not being your job, and that's when like it just all, when I stopped looking at this as, hey, this is a career choice,
Mm-hmm.
and I really started saying, no, this is an opportunity to empower people to apply the principles that I learned from my parents and buying real estate. And, you know, I came up with that recently. I'm like, man, for every dollar I've made in mortgage commissions, I've made people 4x that amount in equity. You know, people that walked into banks, and just because that lender with that lack of experience at Bank of America or Wells Fargo at their trusted bank didn't understand how to, you know, calculate income or something. And those little details where people were getting rejected, you know, some scenarios, Kelly, where, you know, a family had tried going to like 3 different banks, and they finally were referred to me, and I was able to get them in that property just because of experience and knowing how to structure a deal. That's where I really started loving the job, when I'm realizing, hey, I'm changing lives. You know, I'm creating financial freedom, financial security, you know, and do what my parents taught me, man. Just that's when I really started loving the business. When I connected one of my personal, I know I put the human in mortgage. I was resistant to online applications until COVID. I attend, even still, like I prefer face-to-face. Yeah, it's convenient to get an application filled out on a Saturday morning or a Sunday afternoon and be ready for it Monday or even that day. But when I put the human in my business and said, this is not just a job, it's not just numbers. There's actually, when I understood the human potential to change lives and connect with people, that's when I started loving it. And that's when I really created my own identity here in Vegas with it, like by putting the human in my business. And
because you work 7 days a week.
Yes.
You're always available.
Yes. I'm available. I branded myself as a weekend lender. I've had weekends, Kelly, where I met, 15 clients on a weekend and did 9 pre-quals. And that's where I think I was able to excel in Vegas, just because it's the principles that my parents taught me, or what I observed from my parents. It was normal for my dad to work 7 days a week. That was normal. Watching my mother leave to work at 5 in the morning or at 6 in the morning, wake up at 5, make us breakfast, leave at 6, be back at home at 4 or 5 o'clock, then make us dinner, then go into the garage and make clothes to sell in the neighborhood. Just that entrepreneur and drive that my parents had to, they didn't do it for the reasons I did it. I did it to, build a real estate portfolio and drive nice cars and buy beach properties and buy little, cottages in Sequoia. Yeah. So just once I made that choice, Kelly, to put the human in my business, I fell in love with it. Then it just became, I started extracting my passions, the art gallery, doing tequila tastings and creating an identity for myself around a tequila, where I'm like the tequila guy, where, tequila's opened up many opportunities for me, like connecting with people like Ivan Scher, Dave Tina. That made me different. These guys just turned out to like tequila. And now I became an expert in tequila. Now I'm kind of cross-marketing my passions with what was a boring business, mortgage. And that's where I, doing my BizFit events, which we'll start doing again this year. I would do fitness networking events. I'm a fitness enthusiast, as well as much like tequila. I like fitness just a little more. And just a little more, man. I got to like it a lot more, man, because tequila and me we have a great relationship. But
now, I'm interested. Tell me a little, just touch on the tequila thing and how that Raygoza, is that?
Raygoza. So
share how that all came about.
So it all started, Kel, just like I say, I'm a passionate guy. I'm a man who loves people, man. I love people. Rejection means nothing to me. Dave Tina told me 20 times, dude, like what are you messaging before? Cameron Zanner, like, bro, like, what do you want to meet from me? We meet me, like, bro, I just want to meet you, man. I would set up these appointments with these very high profile realtor brokers, and it really wasn't to get business from them. Like, it was more to associate myself with them. And through that gaze, you know, plugging myself in these, you know, with the Ivan Share lunches and, you know, with the Cameron Zans and these big producers here in Vegas, it just was a very sincere aspect of myself. So with the tequila, I use it as I like to say, a weapon or a tool to build relationships. And it's been phenomenal in that sense. So it all started with me loving tequila and collecting and kind of making a name for myself, even like within the tequila community, like on an international level. So I was in Mexico, and this kid that lived in South Korea, he worked for some type of tech company. He had been following me on social media because my house is an art installation of the tequila making process. So my business venture with tequila started, Cali, just through my love for it. And I think, like, I'm not a metrics kind of guy. I'm not a number. I have to follow my heart. I have to do what I love, and I have to figure out a way to incorporate what I love and what drives me in life to keep on moving forward. Because if I was just a numbers guy, I would have got an office in Henderson and Summerlin. But I said, no, I'm going to do this my way. I believed in it. 10 years later, you know, we're keeping the doors open. Yeah. You know, we've had a couple rough years in our industry, but we're still there baking bread.
The whole human aspect side of it too. I agree with you there, because sometimes you and I have been in it so long. Sometimes it's just we're taking loan apps,
correct,
and meeting people. You know, I too now would prefer to meet someone in person.
Correct.
Okay, and you're bilingual. You speak Spanish. I think more so in your community, if I could use that. Your community.
Of course.
They like meeting people.
That they don't have computers.
Your location is a perfect location.
Yep.
Right there. So I'm glad to have
it's central.
that branch in our world now. And I admire you. We've known each other
about 15 years now.
15 years. Ray and I worked together at a company that went out of business.
Yeah, but you know, Cali was an absolute influence in my career, and I love to tell that story. But just interviewing with people trying to sell me on a fraternity culture, people trying to say that this branch is like a law firm. Cali was just super down to earth, super human, and that when I opened up my branches, I always replicated your way. Like, you weren't trying to persuade me. I never tried to persuade nobody to come work with me. It's like, hey, this is what we have to offer. This is what we can pay you. Yeah. And do you want to work here? We would love to have you. And just keep it. You kept it super simple. You weren't selling me on a dream or trying to convince me of something that I could see right through.
Yeah.
You were just very genuine, and that's what I've always loved about you.
It's nice.
And you're funny as hell too, bro.
So here's the deal. I'm just a big fan of kindness. You know, I don't like drama in our office or anything like that. You don't bring that. You handle your own stuff. Which is really cool. But it's like my office, Merit Lending. We rent office space from an insurance company who owns a big part of this building. And they've been friends of mine for years.
Keep it simple.
And I love coming here. I'm around friends. I'm around people that I can trust and enjoy and being around. And I think, like, you and I kind of experienced that 15 years ago. You know, one of the reasons LOs hate their job is they're around managers that, you know, production driven, all of this, and it's just not fun. And everybody here just loves and appreciates each other. Okay, I'm not sure how this is going to play out in the world and where this is being posted, you know, but we're always looking for good loan officers. I mean, we have 3 or 4 loan officers that did 60, 70 loans last year. Just pretty darn good in our industry. In this economy, it's amazing. In this economy. It's amazing. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 that did 60 plus, which is huge. That's massive. And Sam, he hasn't even been in the industry that long. Yeah. For him to be doing those numbers, that's impressive. And the goal is to hit 100. I know you're going to get there too. We all help each other. And so that's why I like the environment. You can call me up. I'll help you. My sons, Cody and Greg. You have the best operation. We just help each other structure loans and try to make it work. There's no competitive weirdness. So that's why I'd have a hard time going back to being a retail. I haven't punched a clock in 32 years. Yeah. That would be very difficult. I could never do that. I could never do that. It's impossible. Even though I don't know, I don't have any income scheduled for March on the board. Yeah. Literally none. But what's most important that what drives me is the people I'm around. And so I'm glad we reconnected.
Likewise, Kelly.
And you are a super, super go-getter, but
Thank you,
you
Kelly.
love people.
That's what it is.
I see you work a room, and you're not. It just comes natural. You like meeting and talking to people.
And tequila helps out a little bit too. A little bit of tequila.
Well, I'm kind of the fifth wheel when I go to these events with Ray.
No.
I don't drink. So
That's awesome.
So
no, but you're totally cool.
yeah, I'm like, well, to be cool, what do I do? A tonic, with a lemon in it, You know, people put a drink in when I get.
But I want to be like you one day.
They put a straw in there, and I'm like, just get rid of the straw. For like recommendations for loan officers, because there's a lot struggling now. The economy's not been good in our industry, and rates keep going up. It's really weird.
Yeah,
we thought that was going to kind of change.
Do you think these fires will affect rates in any way?
I don't know. I was hoping the bond market would be improved today, but it didn't. It just flipped. It went the other way.
Wow.
So there's so many layers into mortgage pricing and what affects the 10-year Treasury.
Wow.
But we, so if you can mention what do you like about being with a mortgage broker, banker? It's been a while since you've been in a retail shop, right?
Yeah, it's been a couple
what are
years.
The advantages and disadvantages.
But being here at Merit, I think the flexibility is just the biggest thing about being with a broker is when you're with a retail bank, you're limited, obviously, on products. And I think the biggest value in being a broker is if rates improve drastically, you can just cancel that loan. Unfortunately for the bank, we put the loan in first, but we always got to look for our consumers first. And you can move it to another bank where the pricing is significantly better and just secure that you're going to keep that deal. Because some of these lenders, some of these clients, I've lost deals on the retail platform where pricing improved. I had locked them in per their request. Now they're getting a better deal down the street, and there's nothing I can do about it other than just try to convince them that, hey, this is the way to go. But that's the beautiful thing about us as brokers is we can be at Bank X and pricing got significantly better. And that's what I learned. Like my first 2 months on the broker side a few years ago, that exactly happened. We put it in with Bank One, pricing got crazy better. Kelly, we went from like 7.5 on an FHA to like 6.25. It's been like last December 23. Just pricing got really crazy low, like good for like 2 weeks. And I was able to shift that because the consumer was calling me, telling me like, hey, rates, why am I getting a 7.5 when I could get a 6.25 down the street? Well, explain it to him. I can move it over to another bank. And we did that, and I saved my loan and retain the client.
We're able to do that is because it takes us about 15, 16 days on average to close a loan.
Yeah, we're closing loans really quick.
So we can make that change when necessary, right?
Yeah, now it's been ironically, my problem lately has been closing too early. Like the sellers don't want to close early. I'm closing one on Tuesday. We could close 2 weeks ago. So that's been, or agents kind of like, well, we're not ready to close. It's been a common thing when we're ready to close.
Yeah. I remember back in 2003, the broker channel, we'll call it the broker channel, broker meaning we can shop our loans out to a lot of different funding partners with or without a line of credit because we're a mini correspondent too. But I remember in 03, 04, I think the broker channel had about 65% of the market. Okay, and then after the meltdown, it dropped down to about 10%.
Yeah.
Okay, but because the broker channel is, and I'm not just preaching this, it's not a merit lending advantage. It's any broker has an advantage over a retail lender.
100%.
In speed and most of the time pricing, not all the time, but speed and pricing. So that's why the broker channel now is back up to 25%. It's grown every year for the last 15 years. And we hope to get to about 50% at least. So what's really cool, if I'm a loan officer and I'm at a retail shop or I'm looking for a new home, nice environment, a true family to help promote each other, there's 3/4 of the market out there. That's our market opportunity.
Correct.
The Wells, the Chases, the big banks, the guilds. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
The guarantees.
Did I just name a company? Anyway, sorry.
We're not supposed to name companies.
I don't know, but I did.
Okay, the guilds. Yeah.
So they just retail shops. Most of the time, the rates and fees and turn times can be higher. So what's pretty cool is we've got 3. We only do 1 out of 4 loans in this country. And so that's the message we want to get out there to the world is brokers are better for a lot of, the average turn time at banks, especially the big institutions, is about 45 days. 45 days to close a loan. We're averaging about 16, 17. Why? And people say, well, why is that? Because our funding partners,
that's their niche.
We are their customer. And they bend over backwards to close our loans. Underwriters we talk to instantly. Here's what we can do to structure your file. We don't like that. Take that out of the file. So it's just a really cool environment to be. Because when you and I were together, the last time we were together, we were at a retail shop for a period of time. Had underwriting downtime, processing downtime. I don't know if you recall that. I'm like, how do you? It's just a weird feeling for me. So I didn't feel comfortable in the retail world for that reason. I read a book recently, about a year ago. Steve Young, he was the quarterback of the Super Bowl championship.
Was he 49ers? Yeah, after Joe Montana or before?
After.
Okay, yeah, I remember him.
He wrote a book called The Law of Love, which I really, really enjoyed it. He basically said, it's about, are you in a transactional world in your business, or are you in a relationship world?
That's so funny. I went to Urban S and Dave Tina, exact thesis of his 2-hour conversation.
Yeah. And so when you get into a relation, or it's not just transactional, obviously people know that and can feel that when you're interacting with them. But that kind of goes to what you were saying about you can't take the humanity out of a situation, and people want that. So you try to
keep the human in my business. Yeah. Okay, that's my own. My own thing.
And that's the people that are here at Merit. I think they all kind of feel that way. It's not about just making as much money on each loan as possible. By the way, we have a wonderful compensation plan that's kind of flexible, where you we have our compliant compensation plan really is there so that loan officers don't lose deals. It's about making that customer happy, getting them in the home. Sometimes I call it charity mortgage because I've got to do a free loan. Can't tell you how many we've all done
free loans.
Many free loans, because it's not about the money. We've had to waive all the compensation.
It's about the reputation for us.
Can get in the home, and our realtor partners and people know that at Merit, the first goal is to get the consumer into that home.
100%.
That's the start of wealth, just like you talked about.
Exactly.
And tell me a little bit about, I know you have a daughter that's interested in getting into the business.
My daughter. The resistant one. She's not. She's
I love your daughter.
Yeah. No, of course. She's a big.
Cute.
She's a big.
She always gives me a hug.
Big fan of you. She loves you. She loves you. She's getting into the business, which is something I always wanted and didn't want.
It's I hear you.
Yeah, it's I
got 2 boys, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yes. So I think she sees my lifestyle. She sees the flexibility. She sees that I travel often. She also sees that I'm always working. So no, she's getting into the business, and she's taking her test. It's not an easy test, so she's studying her butt off for it right now.
Okay.
And she's ready. She's ready. She has a good social media following, so I'm hoping she exploits into it.
Okay.
Or exploits the opportunity and can get some deals out of it. So
speaking Spanish helps too.
Yeah. She doesn't speak Spanish.
Oh, she doesn't.
That's my mistake. My mistake.
Shame on you.
It is.
As no, I spent 3 years in Japan.
So you speak Japanese?
On my church mission, and then I went back to work for a year. Even my youngest son, Cody, now and then will say, Dad, what was wrong with you? How come you didn't teach us Japanese? Okay, because you're never going to use it. I never.
Yeah. You barely use it.
Yeah. So tell me about your goals. Have you for this year, or is anything particular that you are excited about making happen?
I do 18-month goals, Kelly, and I revisit them and I re-iron things out. But right now, my 18-month goal is to do 800 deals in the next 18 months.
Okay. You'll get there.
Yeah. It's going to be work. I am doing the work. I'm meeting this week alone. I met with 5 new realtors. So I'm meeting new realtors every week, revisiting old relationships, rekindling old relationships. And by myself, my goal is to do 100 deals and help 100 families.
Now, how do you, if you don't mind sharing, how do you connect with new realtors? Do you have an approach there? Or is that by some of the events that you host?
Of course. So I do a little bit of, I would say, I'll talk about my pinnacle year, and that's why I'm revisiting. So I would do social media, paid ads, kind of like I've noticed you guys do some as well. Mm-hmm. Your little banner. So I just did a weekend lender commercial that's perfect too. That I filmed. So I'm going to go. So I guess my formula has just been social media post with direct messaging. Then I put events together to create these opportunities to meet a handful of realtors. Every realtor, every event that I have, my goal is to meet with 2 new realtors and at least bring 8 previous realtors to just be face to face. So cool. I'll do the typical traditional social media post. I do the events and I just continue to invite them. So when I do an event, why I'm successful at them, Kelly, is a lot of people think, just make a flyer and post it. No, I'll post it, direct message it. If I have their number, I'll text them. I invite people 4 times to that event, at least.
Nice.
At least. So I spend time, and it's not automated. It's not AI. It's all customized. It's like, hey, I want you to come here because I want you to meet this person. They confirm they're coming, or stuff of that nature. So I try to bring some type of value.
Do you do all that yourself, or do you have somebody helping you?
It's like second nature to me, Kelly. I've been hosting events since I was 15 years old. Literally, I would throw raves in warehouses when I was 16, 17, and I was successful at that. So bringing people together is just a process, and I don't feel entitled just because I'm hosting something. I'm going to invite you once. No, I make it very clear that I want you to come until you tell me you have plans. If there's somebody I want there, I'll invite them, and I'll ask them for a commitment. And if they say, I'm sorry, I can't go, then I say, hey, I'll invite you to the next one. Okay. And I keep on inviting people that I want to meet there. I got my first deal from a kid, the formula we're going over. Okay. Invited him 100 times, just would blow me off. Just stuck on top of it. And he ended up coming to the office, and he's like, bro, I'm super glad I met you. Actually, he came to our merit party. He was at the beginning, Christian, but I was persistent. And he's like, man, I'm super glad I met you. I just thought you were another lender, just trying to get business from me. He's like, you're a pretty cool dude. And I'm like, I know, man. I go, likewise. I go, that's that's why I was persistent as well, because I knew you were a super cool dude. I knew. Nice. So we're going into escrow on a deal hopefully by Monday, and it's my first deal, Kelly. And if I go back, if I run it, probably took a year to get that deal. Nice. I must have spent maybe 30 minutes collectively sending messages over a year until he came, and we ended up hitting it off.
And I admire that. It reminds me of John Huntsman, a billionaire, Dow Chemical.
Okay.
I remember him saying, this was years ago, he just said, just remember, no is the beginning of the conversation.
Yes. Or Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar put that in my head. He said, the best salespeople get the most no's. Yeah. I understood that. It's
There's even a book, I still have it on my shelf, it's called Go for No. Yeah. The more no's you get.
Exactly. Zig Ziglar. Yeah. The more no's you get, the more yeses you get. It just made, when I heard that, so.
But the thing of it is, it's not contrived with you. That's why I like it. You genuinely want to meet these people.
Yes.
Which is the difference.
And and that really, and that's one thing, Kelly, that's not a selling point. Is just I admire people. I don't take rejection personal. I understand people have kids, people have wives. They're busy people, or they just don't want to meet me. But if I want to meet somebody, I'm going to meet them. So I've been very successful at that for sure. And sometimes it's just association. You don't need to, I try to meet every agent that I possibly can, even if I know I'm never going to get a loan from them, because one day they might be a listing agent and they remember our conversations and there's some trust or some rapport. I'm not just another random name on a pre-qual letter. There was actually some connection there, whether it was just a DM or. So I always ask my realtors, let me know who the listing agent is before you put the offer in. If it's and then I've converted a lot of deals through those associations where I've already built some type of rapport with. They know I'm a hard worker. They know I'm outgoing, and that has benefited in many ways.
You're not entitled in any way. You've been back with us for about 4 or 5 months now. One of the things I love about you, not being patronizing, it's just cool to have this in a very experienced LO, is if you can handle it, you handle it.
Correct.
We just had an incident here this morning where somebody asked that's with you, needed some help. He said, no, to my son, Greg, don't worry about it. I'll get it handled.
Of course.
I'll get it handled. Let me handle that. So I love you for that. So
I just know I know you guys are busy, and and you guys are beyond resourceful. Like, I'm very happy with the decision. I wish it could have happened before, but I'm very happy being here with Kelly. At Merritt Lending, man, it's home now for sure.
Well, we're a family. I love the family vibe. We let 3 people go yesterday. Just because they weren't. Look, I don't know why I'm saying this, but
this could be off the record.
No. This could be off the record. They weren't doing loans, and then they just weren't fitting in.
Okay.
And
they weren't producing.
They weren't producing, and they were more of a drain. They were kind of taking advantage of my time, Cody's time, Greg's time.
Oh, well. And they weren't even doing loans.
No, and you've got to, look, we're not here. We're all busy. We have to originate. I have to originate
correct.
to make money.
That's why I had to step in for you guys today, man.
I have to originate to make money too. And we're willing to help people, anybody, new person. I don't care if you don't know anything, but if you're willing to just go out and make the effort, I'll help you all day long, but you can't expect me to, do this, do that, and then what's a 1003? We're not that company. People that thrive here at Merritt Lending are self-gen LOs that want to get paid the day after the loan closes their funds, okay? Very, very, very generous commission splits, okay? And to have a support team around them. Everybody at this company has me, Cody, Kim, and Greg to help you answer all your questions, structure loans if you need another set of eyes. Okay. You would help any one of our loan officers. There's zero competition in the company. Maybe a little bit with one person, but he'll get there. My joy, I'm 60. I get Medicare this year. Pretty stoked about that. 65 years old. Yeah. So it's not so much about money anymore. I just want to be around good people. And so thanks for being a part of our company.
Thank you, Kelly.
So many good people here. And I'm grateful that this little stinking Merritt Lending company can bless the lives of so many people as it has me. And so again, thank you, Ray, for being part of our team. And I wish you much, much success. I look forward to some of the more events.
We should put one together at the beginning of the year.
And anything else you want to, that you're...
Just come join our team. Merritt, working with Callie is definitely a privilege. He's a great guy. I say that not because I work with him, but just because he's sincerely a good person. So loan officers in retail, even broker shops, come talk to Kelly and I.
All right. Thank you.